All right, everybody, gather around the campfires. Grandpa Queso tells you a story because back in my day, we used to watch movies on something called a VHS player, and then we evolved to a DVD player and then a Blu-ray player. And now we're in a dystopian world where everything's digital. Today's topic of conversation we're going to talk about is how Sony is kind of in some hot water right now. We talked about him the other week, how there's a class action lawsuit against them overcharging people. And Sony's now in even more hot water because digital content is being deleted that people purchased. Interesting, huh? Anyways, before we jump into this article, don't forget to mash that like button, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts on this subject is. So, the article we're talking about today is from Kotaku. Everybody's favorite TMZ of the gaming sphere. PlayStation to delete a ton of TV shows users already paid for. Sony says Mythbusters and more Discovery TV shows are going away whether you bought them or not. Guess what? I didn't buy them. I feel bad for the people that did. Let's keep on going down here. The promise of digital media is that it can last forever. Granted, this is true. Like, digital media will last significantly longer than physical media because if you guys didn't know, PlayStation games, original PlayStation 1 games, the disc that they're on, there's a significant, like, it's been 30 years since most of them have been printed, and a lot of them are actually losing the data that's on the disc due to light, due to, contaminants, what have you. And in my opinion, I'd much rather go physical media than digital media. But nowadays, everything is freaking digital. Unfortunately, a mess of online DRM, digital rights management, and license agreement means that we most likely don't own the digital stuff we buy. So basically, you're leasing it. You're not buying it. As most recently evident by the fact that Sony is about to delete Mythbusters and Naked and Afraid. I think it's funny how they put Mythbusters and Naked and Afraid like in the same sentence. Like, who would have thought that would have happened? And a ton of other Discovery shows from the PlayStation's user libraries, even if you've already purchased them. And we're going to keep on going. The latest pothole in the road to an all-digital future was discovered via a warning Sony recently set out to PlayStation users who purchased TV shows made by Discovery, the reality TV network that recently merged with Time Warner. With Warner Brothers. It's not Time Warner anymore. It's Warner Discovery, I believe, is what the new company is called. That's why, HBO Max is just called Max now. It's not HBO. It's not that's why they're adding a ton of Discovery shows on there is because of this merger. And one of the most brutal, idiotic corporate maneuvers of all times, due to our content licensing agreement with content providers, you will no longer be able to watch any of your previously purchased Discovery content, and the content will be removed from your video library, which is super fucked up. Like, if I was to go out and I was to go buy the DVD, Blu-ray, whichever, format you want it on, the question is, are they going to come and take it? No. And that's why I preach physical media. It linked to a page on the PlayStation website listing all the shows impacted. As you might imagine, given Discovery's penchant for pumping out seasons of relatively cheap to produce but popular reality TV and documentary-based TV shows. I mean, looking at this list here, say yes to the dress, not my cup of tea. Shark Week, yeah, I fuck with Shark Week. Shark Week's pretty good. Cake Boss, not really. Long Island Medium, not really. Deadly Women, not really. Is there a way I can save this content? So, this is interesting, right? That this Reddit user asked this because I use OBS. This is what I use to record, to do all kinds of stuff. Now, what's interesting to me is I can go to, let's say I have the Xfinity streaming app, right? If I go to the Xfinity streaming app on my desktop, it automatically blanks it out. Same with Netflix, same with all those other ones. So if I was to boot up my PlayStation right now and I was to go into one of those apps, it automatically block me from recording anything utilizing OBS. Interesting, right? On top of that, like the Xbox, the reason why I don't really play on my Xbox is due to DMCA and DRM issues. I've been able to actually connect and do things on my Xbox Series X, but some games it will just and it'll kick me off. Some games it'll just straight not allow me to do anything because of DMCA and DRM, especially DRM. DRM is like the worst. Which it's just mind-boggling that you can purchase said media, but because of licensing agreements between two different companies, you cannot actually go in and do anything with said media because it's not purchased, it's licensed. And that's two vastly different things. It's crazy to like think about it that way. Let's keep on going. Movies and TV shows first appeared on the PlayStation Network in 2008 via the PS3. At the time, it was possible to transfer the content between devices for viewing on things like the PlayStation Portable, PSP. Sony removed that option beginning with the PS4 and beyond. So basically, once the PS4 dropped, you're done with it. Now, essentially, anything you buy on the PSN, whether PS5 blockbusters or Police Women of Cincinnati, I don't know if that's a real show, is essentially just an indefinite loan until such time as the PlayStation servers die or the original copyright owner decides to pull the content. Which I've never really thought about it because, like, I, for the most part, purchase most of my stuff off of Amazon. And you would think, like, most license holders of the media, whether it's a movie or whether it's a TV show, would not pull their said TV show or what have you off of Amazon because it's such a big platform. Like, that's the only reason why I'll buy digital is off of Amazon. I won't buy it off of Microsoft. I won't buy it off of PlayStation. Now, granted, I did buy some media on the Xbox, App Store years and years and years ago, but I haven't bought any since because why? This right here. This is the first time. This isn't the first time Sony has done something like this, and it won't be the last. I just buy your favorite shows on Blu-ray instead. But Sony and Microsoft also appear to be planning to slowly phase out optical disc drives in the future, which, case in point, the PS5 Slim, which doesn't have a disc drive, or your Xbox Series S that doesn't have a disc drive because it's strictly all digital. Even the new PS5 Slim detachable disc drive will require an online DRM check every time you plug it in. And I know there's been a lot of people that have been talking about it. When it comes to that, it's not cool to me because it's a piece of equipment that you've purchased. It's a piece of equipment you own. There's no reason for them to be DRMing every time you plug it in due to the fact that, like, 10, 15 years down the road, whenever Sony's done with it, whatever the case is, you're not going to be able to use that disc drive no more. Fortunately, generic Blu-ray players are cheaper than ever, which I agree they are. Unfortunately, they don't really print discs of Pigment Behind Bars Season 1 anymore. And I mean, that is the terrible part. Is if you really enjoy these terrible reality TV shows, you're probably not going to find, whatever on DVD from, Discovery. They're going to try to point you in the direction of buying a subscription service to their, online platform, whether it's Max, whether I know Discovery had one for the longest time, which I think was like $8 a month, right? They're going to try to point you in the direction to, get our content from us, get the monthly subscription, and watch it this way. We don't want you watching it, even though you might have purchased it from Sony, off of, the PlayStation Network, off of the Xbox Network, what have you. Yeah, it's just one of those things like DRM, DMCA. Those are things that you guys need to like really become acquainted with, especially like for the future, because DRM, digital rights management, like that's the one where you're always going to have to be online, always have to be connected to the internet, so that every couple minutes they can check your license to make sure, okay, you can watch that. DMCA, Digital Millennium Copyright Act. You know, that's the one when it comes to music. When you're streaming and you have a song that plays in the background for 11 seconds, because most of the time anything under 10 seconds you're good to go. That's where companies will take your money. These are things that you got to like really look into if you're going to be a streamer, a content creator, stuff like that, because you might spend. Perfect example. I had a video I played BioShock, and this was like it was an hour-long video of me playing BioShock, me editing some stuff, and just because there was a song from 1947 at the very beginning that played for 14 seconds. Sony copyright claimed it, and if I was to make any money on that video, they would get all of it from a song from 1947. So these companies are very greedy, especially Sony. Sony is the worst when it comes to that. I want you guys to just, be careful what you purchase. And maybe the way of the future might be going back to physical media instead of going to the, good old digital future that we thought we were going into. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to mash that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. What are your thoughts on companies arguing over licensing agreements? And do you think Sony's in the right by basically shoving it up yours and telling you to, sorry, dude, we're not giving you any money back? Or is this leading potentially to another class action lawsuit? I'm not sure what all is in the fine print of their agreement. But anyways, you guys, y'all take it easy and have a wonderful day. Bye!